Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining this week. Today, I have someone who's been a client of mine probably more than 5 years, Annalie. It's not been two, it's been more than 5 years. And she says she comes probably twice a year. I don't know if she sees me twice a year, but she's going to talk about that. But I thought instead of doing a reading today for her, that we're going to talk a little bit about how her readings helped her, what made her write an email to Donna and say, I need a reading. And then how you integrated this reading into your life afterward. And we've done readings on past lives. You and I have done readings on just your soul's growth, your human growth. And then you and I have also done readings with loved ones who have passed. So you don't have to go into all of them, but just start with why you decide, oh, I don't remember why you first saw me. Maybe when I was out in California. Yeah, okay. When I was living out in California. Okay. So that was how you met me. And then what made you say, okay, today's the day. I haven't talked to Don in a while. I need.
So I first connected with you after a friend had done a group reading with you. And I was just naturally curious. I've always heard about mediums and I've never talked to one before. So I thought, oh, why not? Like, let me just find out. The curiosity got to me. And so when we first talked, I was so surprised that a loved one who had crossed over came through. And all of the details that you shared about that person, it was just like bing, 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 like, oh my God, like I can't believe I am getting this beautiful, special moment with a loved one in spirit. And it was just like, I was blown away. And I don't know if you remember, but you did a reading for my mom too. And it was before my grandfather passed, but spirit was sharing. I think spirit was kind of hinting at that his time was coming. And we connected the dots after he passed because spirit was saying something was going to happen on the 7th. It was a celebration. It was something beautiful that was going to happen in spirit. And my grandfather passed on March 7th. That reading, I know for my mom, was so powerful because it gave her a sense of peace. I knew she was so fearful. She loved her dad. I mean, he was her number one hero. And so she was already bracing herself for his passing. And I think she was looking at it from a different viewpoint, but having that message from spirit that spirit was so excited there were going to be people, there was going to be all this celebration for him coming over, I think gave her so much peace. And so I was hooked after that because like, oh my God, wow, what is this? I really loved that, we can also do this virtually, so that's how we would make our biannual appointments. But I think two things, and you're right, we've done past lives, we've done spirit guides. We've done a lot of different types of readings, and every time a new message would come through, and you would remind me that this is what spirit wants you to hear right now. And I think the most profound reading that I had personally was about the chair. And I know you did an episode, I think it was at the beginning of 2025, when you were sharing with folks about being in the present moment. That's if there was only one thing you were going to hear from these podcast episodes, it was this one. This is the one to listen to. That's a nice plug for go back to the 2025 January episode.
That was beautiful, Annalie. I've never heard it stated that way. And of course, it makes sense. This is your spiritual check in. This is your soul speaking to you directly for what you need to know, what you might have been missing for the last 6 or 7 or 8 months. And Donna can connect with that. So that was a beautiful way to state that. Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for always showing up.
Yeah, I know that there has also been some hesitation, at least the way I grew up. I grew up Catholic. My family still practices Catholicism. I've since kind of developed a different type of relationship with God. And so I know that for my mom, there was a little bit of hesitation because she said before her reading, like, oh, I don't know if this is what Catholics are allowed to do this. And I'm like, well, just, it doesn't hurt to just listen and hear. You can take it or leave it. That's always your choice. So for me, it's almost like, if I can make an analogy to like being at university, you go to the lecture is God's word, in my opinion. It's what God, love and justice and all of that stuff. And then these readings are like those smaller classroom settings with your TA and like 10 other students. And that's where you really get like the personalized, customized space to ask those questions and engage with the material. So that's how I've also looked at it too.
That's beautiful also. And let's state I don't normally predict someone's passing. That is not what mediums do. I'm sure when I said it, I was thinking about a celebration here in the physical world.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you were also, my mom was trying to say, could it be this? You're like, it doesn't feel like that's what Spirit's saying. And then you never alluded to anything about his death. But then afterwards we wrote to you and we're like, hey, we connected the dots. And then you were able to say, oh, when somebody crosses, Spirit sees it as something to celebrate. And so that's how we were able to get that message after the fact.
Wow, that's even better now that I talk about that. Really cool. Good
Yeah,
one, Spirit.
that was a good one. Yeah.